She quit acting basically at the height of her career at age 39 to do animal rights activism. And I can already hear you like, all right, here's some liberal, silly woman wanting to save the baby seals and whatever else. But what is the one thing that we see over and over and over again today? The left has certain principles, one of those being environmentalism, right? But they always throw those things overboard if it conflicts with being anti-white. Because being anti-white is what defines the modern left. And that's precisely what happened here. Bardot called for a ban on halal ritual slaughter, which is how the Muslims kill things. This led to her being condemned by all these different groups. She was repeatedly fined by the state, by the government, for hate speech and for violating the law. And this is decades ago. This isn't like, wow, wokeness is out of control in 2020. This has been happening for a very long time. And it wasn't because, oh, I'm against Islam because I think it's too restrictive of women's freedom, or I think it's too restrictive of animal rights, or I'm against Islam because it's too right-wing. No, she had a much better case to it. She said Islam is anti-French. And the French state kept putting her on trial because it's Europe and it's illegal to say things that any European, left or right, would have said or believed until very recently. And again, this was happening in the 1990s. Pretty compelling in a way when you take a step back and really think about it. Here's this person, here's this actress that the nation itself chose to represent itself. And then the state puts that figure on trial for trying to defend the identity of the nation. Can you think of a better metaphor for where we are right now? Can you think of a better reason why this person matters? And it's especially complicated because her image was tied in with all these concepts of sexuality and liberation and all of these things that in many ways you would associate with the left more than the right. But despite being an actress, she didn't follow the script any more than Delon did. She said, no, France needs to remain French. And this culture that we celebrate, including that many liberals celebrated, does not exist unless France remains French. And that means the people, not certain abstractions. And it's not just that progressives refuse to think about that. It's not that they considered this possible contradiction. It's not just that they didn't think, well, maybe she has a point. And we've put her up in all these ways and she symbolizes all these things to us. Maybe we should take these ideas seriously. Instead, they put her on trial. And they said, we need to shut her up. That's how dangerous. And this continues now, even after she's dead. So, for example, the New York Times, Brigitte Bardot's legacy of racist rhetoric. This is how they remember her. And again, before I get into it, notice how the Times, the journalists, right? The free press. Oh, they're the guardians of our liberty. What will we do? We need the journalists. They're standing up to authoritarianism and Trump and fascism. These are the people who don't think it's a scandal that someone is being put on trial for speech in the so-called free world. And as you'll see, she didn't say anything that was wrong. Everything she said is basically self-evident. It's objectively correct. These journalists are envious of what's going on in Europe. They want to see us put on trial. The implicit suggestion to this whole article is, why doesn't the American government do that here?